Hey guys, welcome back to another how to win video. Today I'm going to be taking Frank into Solo Showdown Ghost Point, and in today's video I'm going to demonstrate exactly how to use brawlers that pause before they use their attacks, such as Frank and Bibi. I'm going to use Frank for the first two games, and then I'm going to switch over to Bibi to give you guys some more gameplay to work with. So without further ado, let's hop right into the first game. Okay, so it did spawn in the middle of the map, and one thing that you want to do when you have a brawler like Frank, who does have like a short delay or a pause before he does shoot his attacks, is you don't want to sort of be the center of attention or be in front of a lot of people, because it can be very tricky to try and hit people like that. That Spike was able to dodge us so easily, even though we did try and go for some shots there. So I'm pretty sure the coast is clear now. That Mr. P that was trying to get these boxes might have just moved somewhere else by the looks of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab those boxes, and then we're going to head down to the bottom here to see if we can maybe third party get some cleanups with Frank. And one thing that you do need to realize as well is, yeah, Frank may have a pause between his attacks, but he still has a lot of health and also deals a lot of damage, especially if you do have the power grab star power, just like I do. So you can sort of bully people into getting close to you, like I just did there with that Spike. I literally one-shot him because I do so much damage and I have so much health to work with. So that's one thing you can do. Even though he does have that short pause before he attacks, you just gotta try and sort of learn when it's gonna happen, so you get used to it, and depending on what servers you play on, you may get a little bit of lag beforehand as well. So especially for me, since I play on Australian servers, the servers over here aren't as great, so being able to sort of learn and practice with rules like these, you should be able to be getting a little bit better at using them. So, but despite having to practice, I am going to also walk you through a couple of cool tips and tricks that you will need to know. So one thing is you can also wall peek with rules like this. It's just a lot trickier. So if I like shoot before I move over, I can sort of, not like that, but if I sort of move a little bit, you can actually get a little bit of a peek over the walls like that. It's not exactly ideal because when you shoot, obviously you pause for a while, so you'll be out in the open for too long, but it still is possible. There's one thing that you can do with a brawler that has a pause between attacks. But right now, at least in this game, we're just going to play it pretty safe, although I do see this fight over here that we should be able to clean up. I do want to leave that Carl to deal with that robot though, and see if we can maybe get the Colt to fight the Carl instead, and then we can maybe get like a stun at the very end of the game to just finish them off. And that's another thing as well. If you're going to play Frank and not Bibi, Frank does have that stun as his super, which is very powerful if used in the right situation. So being able to utilize that properly will also save you lots of games. And this just the wait time before his attack just doesn't really like do anything in those situations. So right there, we managed to pick up a very easy win there. There wasn't so much attacking, to be honest, using Frank, and that's another thing that I'm going to cover in the next game. But we just played really well, positioning ourselves early game in the bottom right corner of the map, dealing with the Spike well, and also dealing with the Mr. P and all of those people in the beginning of the game. And also we set ourselves up really well for the rest of the game. We managed to pick up that easy kill on the Carl. So without further ado, let's move on to the second game. I'm going to cover some more tips. Okay, so it's spawning in the top right corner of the map, and we do have a power cube just over here that we will be going for right off the bat. So we're going to use all 4 attacks here to try and open it up as quickly as we can, and then we're going to go head for the one in the corner here. And then what we're going to do after we grab this power cube is just move towards the bushes that we sort of were spawned in, and we're going to hide in there for a little bit of the game just to see where people are at and make sure that we have a good position to maintain for the rest of the game. So we do have, I think, what is a Sandy below us. I'm not 100% sure though. It looks like, actually, yes, it is a Sandy, so I'm going to do my best to just try and hit some shots here. He does know that we're up here. I do want to get away from here just because it's not a good idea to deal with someone who can counter us so well. Sandy having that movement speed and being able to dodge our shots so easily, and the Sandstorm for invisibility is not going to be very useful for us. I'm just going to leave that situation entirely and just deal with other people and put myself in a better spot to be able to deal with other players instead. This Rose is definitely not another good counter that we can go for, because she will be, if she gets close to us, we will just get taken out very easily. Looks like we've got 2 roses just below us. I'm going to try and hit one for my super, although it doesn't look like we are going to be able to do that. We're actually going to be put in a really bad spot here, and there's actually not much that I can think of that we can really do, just because these roses here are teaming, and we also have a Sandy just over to our right. So I'm going to try my best to try and get my stun. If I get my stun, I should be able to make use of it pretty well. I try to bully these roses with my health by the looks of it to push them out of the situation and control the area for myself. So Sandy's going to peek me. I did kind of expect that. Going to expect him to throw a Sandstorm. Looks like everyone in this game is going to be teaming. So that's pretty unfortunate for us. I'm going to try my best to just get out of this area as best as I can. We do have a robot spawning over here, so I'm just going to head all the way to the top of the map here in the corner. Although I don't know, it is actually going to be enough to get it to fall back and go for someone else. So We have been playing this pretty passively, really passively in fact, because there haven't been any fights that we've been able to take, and that's one thing you got to keep in mind with Frank, is he is such an underwhelming brawler. Although he does have really good potential, it's just that you got to be very careful when you go for players, because if you go for certain people that you can't take fights on, it's just not going to pay off. So that's what we've been doing this whole game, just playing really passively, trying to charge super, and now that we have it, we should be able to use it for situations like this, where the Shelly walks by, and we should be able to pick up a pretty easy kill here, or at least get someone else to kill her, like that Bo just did over there. Now that Rosa is going to go down there. I'm going to use my stun on the Rosa to encourage someone else to try and fight her. I think she's going to get taken out by the Leon here, and we are going to be securing a 3rd place. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go for the Cole who's just below me here. We did just get taken out, unfortunately. But I'm actually quite happy with that game. So Frank is a really tricky brawler to master, and I, of course, haven't even done that yet. Although I feel like I played that really well with my positioning, and also being able to use him as much as I can to my advantage, using my stuns where possible, where I can either encourage someone to get the kill, or I can pick up the kill myself and make sure that I don't get cleaned up, because that's the most important thing when you initiate a fight. You don't want to try and get cleaned up. And other than that, I feel like we played that really well. Pretty good use of how to use Frank. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to Bibi. I'm going to play 2 games with her and show you guys how you can win with Bibi's shot delay instead. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Okay, so this time we spawned in the top right corner of the map, and now we have switched over to Bibi. So we do have the batting stance, star power activated on her. I don't have home run, although I would actually recommend you use home run, because it is much better to get out of situations with that speed. While batting stance is pretty good for applying pressure, but isn't as useful in most situations, in my opinion. Now, similar to Frank, Bibi does have a pause between her attacks. As you can see, if I use my attack, it takes like a good second for her to actually unload and swing her bat. Although, it's a little bit different to Frank, as she can still move while her pause is still active. So what you're going to try and learn with Bibi, so with Frank, you want to try and time your attack so that the person either runs into it, or you're just in the range so you know that they won't be able to escape it once you use your attack. With Bibi, it's all about trying to actually hit the attack, and also another timing thing. So it's a little bit different the way you time the attack with Bibi. I'm going to try and demonstrate that in this game. So I don't think there's anyone in here. There wasn't really any point in checking the bushes because I got really close anyways. I'm just going to stay up here in the top right corner of the map though, because we haven't really had to fight anyone yet, and you're better off doing that always with any brawler you ever play. It's just playing passive is going to pay off so much when you're playing Showdown, just because if you initiate fights, there's a high chance you're going to get taken out if you do that, unless you're playing a really good brawler who's got a ton of power cubes, although most of the time that doesn't occur in many Showdown games. So, still hiding in these bushes. This looks like the Shelly's going to try and antagonize us. I'm going to just use my home run to sort of see if I can maybe get a cheeky shot on her, although I've got to be very careful as she does have her super. So I'm going to hit her backwards just to keep her away from me, and also do quite a bit of damage, because Bibi does do a lot of damage. Just like Frank, you got to be very careful, as they do have a lot of potential. It's just that the brawlers have a little bit of a pause between their attack, which can be a little bit difficult to deal with if you're actually playing the brawler. So I'm going to smack that Mortis to deal a bit of damage to see if maybe there's a Nita backstabs him or something. I'm going to try and get close to the Nita to hit her into the storm just like that, and see if maybe the Mortis goes for her. She did throw her bear down, so it's going to go for that Mortis no matter what, unless he runs out of range. And now that we did manage to push those guys out of this area, I'm going to hold the top left corner to myself, and also hold onto my bubblegum to see if I can use it later on somebody else. So what you want to do, at least on this map, is wait for the robot to spawn and see if it goes for somebody that's not you. So the robot is spawning right here. I'm just going to try and use my bubblegum to get rid of that Shelly, or at least deal damage to her. Looks like the Nita is going to go around in the storm. We're going to do the exact same thing. Our shield is going to come in handy there, and I'm pretty sure we took the 3rd place there. It was a pretty rough game for us, unfortunately, dealing with those players. So yes, we did take the 3rd place there. We did manage to out-heal just one extra person in the game. I feel like I played that game really well though, using Bibi to my advantage, and also positioning myself well, especially dealing with that Mortis and that Nita team, being able to hit them into the storm and all that. So it's just about being able to learn how to time that attack with Bibi, whilst with Frank it's a little bit different. So let's hop into the 4th and final game and see how it goes. Okay, so we're spawning in the top left corner of the map, and we do have 2 boxes just below us, which we are going to go for because we do have a piercing attack. We do have a crow just over here as well. So I'm going to try my best to maybe hit him, although I didn't really see where he was, so it was more of like a blind guess to sort of predict where he might have been. Now this crow did just get in our range, so it should be a pretty easy kill here. That's one thing you got to be careful with when you're playing against the Bibi and also against the Frank, is that their range is definitely not what it seems. So Bibi has a really weird range, and especially since the wind up between her attack allows her to run towards the brawler. You can sort of attack before you even get near the player, and then run at them and then hit the attack, so it kind of feels like the range is a little bit longer as well. And that's one thing you're going to keep in mind with both being the BB or going against the BB. It's about learning how you can actually manage to use that. So against that Shelly, for example, I was just basically, I'd run at her, I'd use my attack like this, and I'd sort of predict it to where I would get close enough to her, and also predicting her movements, sort of seeing the way that she moved and whether or not she would run into my attack or whether or not she would run away, which is why it's also really important to learn how to dodge or juke players, because if you learn how to do that, then it's also going to be much harder for a brawler playing BB or Frank to actually hit shots like that, and that's also a completely different video, which I did actually cover. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you guys are curious. Anyways, we do have 4 people left in this game, so we've been playing really well. We did manage to deal with that crow early on, the Shelly early on. We just basically managed to put ourselves in a really good spot. Now we have the robot chasing after us. I don't know how much health it's got. Looks like it's got full health. I'm going to use my bubblegum here. I was kind of hoping that Shelly would run into those bushes, although it doesn't look like she did that. We did actually use a very tactical play there. We hit the robot back to go for the Shelly instead of for us. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and hit the Shelly into the robot, although unfortunately for us, our shot didn't go off, and obviously she had a lot lower ping than us, so she managed to get her super off before we got our home run, which is why it's so important to learn how to master that delay, because that way you'll always be able to hit the first shot and also get that advantage over your enemies. But still a very good game nonetheless. I'm very happy with how it all played out. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like and also consider subscribing to the channel, because I make these how to win videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you have any further questions or you have any suggestions for the brawlers I should play or the maps I should record on, be sure to pop into my Twitch. I stream every Friday, Saturday and Sunday. The links are down in the description below. But that'll be it for me today, guys, and as always, keep sweating. Okay, that works. I'm gonna outrun this Carl. No, no, no.